birds are singing, skies are blue. The world's awake, it's time for you. Start it right, you know it's true. Anson in the morning.
What is going on, my guys? It's Anson in the morning. I'm Anson. I'm here. You're there. Might as well do this. So sorry, guys. First and foremost, last week I couldn't do a show. They're coming and working on the internet here. I'm still not up and right. They still haven't connected it properly. Things are just, I'm losing my mind. Now the guy's like, well, you missed like 6 calls from my boss. Well, he's in Idaho and the number comes up Boise or whatever. I'm not going to answer a Boise number, but he doesn't leave a message. Why don't you leave a message? Hey, this is Tom from whoever, and I've been trying to reach you. I look at the voicemail. I just don't answer the phone if it's from. Are you guys the same way? Do you guys not answer calls from wherever? Because I'll tell you the truth, I just don't. If I don't know the number, like right before the show, my wife's doctor called. I know the number, so I can answer that call, But other than that, I just don't do it. Anyway, guys, here we are. It's spring. It's what, March 30th? How do I not know? Yesterday was my birthday. Hey, I'm 49. I'm almost 50. I don't know how that feels. I don't know. I was in the bathroom yesterday morning getting myself cleaned up. Yeah, I haven't shaved. Cleaned up, and I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like 49 years old today. Like 49 years ago, I was born. 49, and so much has happened in 49 years. I mean, let's start with the obvious, right? The high beam switch is on your console now instead of with your foot in the car, I remember back in the day, to hit the high beams, you used to have to hit that little peg that was on the left-hand side of the floor. But we change. I remember having to call my friends in the 4th and 5th grade to talk to them on the phone. My little girlfriend that I had in the 6th grade, we'd talk on the phone for, 3 hours. But the phone was connected to the wall and I had a limited cord, so I could only go so far. You know what I'm saying? The changes that we've seen. Let's keep going. Let's talk about those changes. What else have we got? The internet. Of course, the internet. But we'll go back first because the internet's huge. Toys. Let's talk toys. Okay, so in my last 49 years of life, we're going to talk about what toys were. I remember that Star Wars used to have Play-Doh sets and everything was metal or cheap. Today my kids are like, I want this $20 toy. I'm like, that's $20. Back in the day, that same toy was like $6. My dad bought me Castle Grayskull. That thing couldn't have been more than $29.99, maybe $35. Nowadays, that same toy is what? $69.99, $89.99. Anyway, I sound like that old guy. Back when I was a kid, nickel, cabbage cost a nickel. But again, like I said, we're just talking about the changes in my last 49 years of life. Toys, a lot of my toys were metal, battery operated. My kids' toys are still battery operated, but everything is plastic. The only metal is the screws. And that's just a fact. But it's all remote control or connect it to this thing on your app, and you can do this and this and that. You know what I mean? It's nuts. But then we got a computer. I was in the 8th grade when we got our first computer, and it was an IBM 286. You turned it on and it made a grinding noise, like, and then it went beep. Well, if I wanted to play computer stuff in the middle of the night, like my little DOS computer games, I had to actually go into the computer and disconnect that whole thing so it wouldn't make that noise. Nowadays, everything's digital. I go into my wife bought me a new laptop just for my own gaming stuff. And all I had to do was like, hey, what's your Windows password? What's your thing? I put it in there. It verified by my phone. Every program that I had got downloaded to my phone or to my computer. When we had internet, I used to play this silly. My buddy Frank reminded me of this the other day. Neverwinter Nights was this online game. It was the first MMO. It really was. That wasn't text-based. So we had these things called MUDs, M-U-D, multi-user dungeons. It was all dial-up. It was all black screen. I mean, they were cool, but it was all text. And everybody sat in the room and chatted, and we all had our own characters, and we go out and do stuff, and it was all procedurally generated through the program, like where we would go in the maps and do what. And they were like, dungeon adventures, and they were great. I actually met a lot of cool people in Portland who used to play those things. Excuse me. And then we got America Online. Dude, that changed my life. because it's the first time that, and how old was I when we got AOL? Like they'd send those discs. We got the internet when I was a freshman in high school. We had Prodigy online, but you weren't really connecting with other people. They didn't have the chat rooms and they didn't have this and that. You know what I mean? It was all just either advertisements or download this or look what the internet can do. Prodigy was cool like that. It was almost like an internet showcase. But then AOL came along and they're like, we have these things called chat rooms and instant messages. And now there's games that you can load into. So they made this Dungeons and Dragons game called Neverwinter Nights. Guys, look this up. AOL Neverwinter Nights. I played this thing for years. Now, let me tell you how bad this got. This is back when you guys, if you don't know, if you guys are too young, let me tell you. You used to have to pay by the hour for AOL or by the minute or whatever. Like you get 5 free hours when you install this disc and play the thing. And then after that, it charges you something. It used to charge you like, it was like $4.99 an hour or something like that. Or if you went over that, it was like, you know, a couple dollars, whatever. Yeah, no, AOL sucked. But back in the day, dude, like I said, I was 14 when it first came out. And it was the neatest thing in the world to me because here I'm playing games. I'm talking to people. I'm in chat room. I used to do this little Star Trek role play thing with a bunch of people. Like 50 people would show up to these chat rooms and just do Star Trek role play in AOL. And that was our MMOs at the time. Like when you're a freshman, sophomore in high school, this is the coolest shit. Because, and the worst part is, if you guys don't know, it was all EGA or VGA graphics. Look up VGA graphics if you guys are too young to know. It was awful, but it was great because, you know, even like I was playing Dungeons and Dragons online with my friends at 12 or in as a freshman in high school. It was great. So I'm seeing the birth of the internet. And then you're hearing like radio DJs, you know, hey, let's go to our radio station. It's KEX.com. You have to put a period and then type com, like explaining how email worked on the radio. How cool is that? Now, it's commonplace. Like I get 100,000 emails on my phone every day, and 4/5 of them are advertisements to make my schlong bigger. I don't know. Do I need it? Maybe it listens. You know, and then the first mobile phones came out. Like around 1999, 2000, it was the coolest thing to have like the little flip phones or the Nokia that you could play Snake on. If you had that, you were the shit, right? So it was the cell phone boom. My dad had one. He had one of the first big old bricks. You remember the big old bricks that you had to hold up to your ear? I'll never forget when my dad got a mobile phone put in his work truck. He was a landscaper. So they had to drill a hole through the roof and put one of those little swirly antennas up there, screw it on, and then he had this phone connected to a cord on a post in his truck. And dude, the static. Like I was trying to call my girlfriend one time, right? I'm like in the 10th grade, and I'm like, hey, Sarah, what's going on? I can't. It sucked. But that was our technology at the time, and we thought we were so cool. You know, riding around in the truck, talking on the phone when it was clear. You felt like James fucking Bond, you know? So there was the internet technology coming up. And I remember saying, you know, I can't wait when I was playing I used to play the Star Trek AOL game where, like I said, you're just chatting. And I was like, hey man, I can't wait till this is the technology hits so that you're in your house with like some kind of a thing on and you're on the bridge. Well, enter about 10 years ago, 9 years ago, PlayStation VR did it. They had this game called Bridge Crew and all my dreams came true. I shit you not. I was like, I'm on the bridge. I'm looking around. I'm talking to people that are also playing. Like the full circle has come around from all the technology that we've seen. And here's the best part. If I saw that in my 49 years, that rise from completely analog to almost 100% digital, like they want digital robots in our house fixing shit and cooking food. That's what we want. Imagine what my kids are going to see in their 49 years. Like what happens with video games? Do you just close your eyes and it gets shot into your head and all of a sudden you're there? Like you're in it? I can't believe I'm almost envious because I saw such a great jump in technology from, like I said, talking to my friends on the phone, connected to the wall. We have rotary phones. Guys, look those up if you don't know. Holy shit. I'm FaceTiming with my dad just yesterday. He's calling to wish me a happy birthday. You know, I'm looking at him. He's like, oh, your cousin's here. And he flips the phone around and there's my cousin Tim. like, hey, what's I mean, that's how related we are to each other now with this global family called the internet. And I got to kind of watch it all grow. I got to see it from the very beginning. And people who were 10 years older than me, who were really implanted in that analog world, man, that must have been a culture shock and a half. But what they did, which is smart, is that they released it to us little by little. So we got to grow with it. Like, dude, I'm the first one to tell you, I used to type in C:/RUN.exe in DOS to play a game that was on a fucking 5.5 or 5.5. Was it 5.5 and 3.25? Yeah, 5.5-inch floppy disk. If we wanted to trade games, we had these little silky little folders. We'd put the discs in. We have to take it to school. Sometimes the games were so big there were 3 or 4. Like, you'd be in the middle of the game, insert disc 3. Okay. And now, dude, check this out. This is how much technology has changed since I've been a kid. I'm 49. I just turned 49 yesterday. When I worked at Circuit City in the year 2000, we were selling 10 gigabyte hard drives for, I think it was like almost $200, maybe more. And I remember telling some guy back then, you will never fill this hard drive in your life. I'm downloading. Imagine how big GTA 6 is going to be. I'm downloading games that are, 100 gig. And it's taking me no time. I remember back when I was a kid, I was not a kid, but I was a young adult. I was trying to download Counter-Strike on my friend's computer at his house, and his internet sucked because I wanted to show him Counter-Strike. And his internet was so bad that it said it was going to take something like 4 years to download. I mean, that's how our internet was. Data was just shit because it came over to phone lines. Now they're trying to install fiber optic in my house, and it's going to be lightning fast if they can figure it out. So we live in this tiny small town. I've told you this before. And every time there's an issue with internet or infrastructure, God, it just takes years to get it right. So there's people in my neighborhood that have Fios that are working great. Me, for some reason, when they built my house, they put the wires on the other side of the Kerframis stand that goes to the Schlingeschlong, and they can't hook it up. So here I am still on, I mean, it's not dial-up, so I'm not going to complain. I can still play online games. But, it's frustrating. All right, so I turned 49 yesterday. I got this shirt. It's a great shirt. I love Hawaiian shirts. If you guys don't know, I love, like cottony, soft Hawaiian shirts that make me feel comfy. My kids got me a box. I thought it was over here of foreign snacks. So yesterday I had some Italian red sauce and pasta sauce chips from China. I had some cookies from I don't remember where. These little coffee cats from Korea. I mean, dude, guys, go online and buy one of these box of foreign snacks. They're not that much. I wish I could call him. He's in the other room. I'm here in studio too, but they're not that expensive to go to buy these boxes of foreign snacks. And, some of them weren't great, but I got to try them. My kids liked the ones I didn't. Buy them. The next thing I want to get is, I don't know why. I want to get some MREs. I want to try some of the new stuff that they've got. I used to have a buddy, Jason, he was a National Guardsman, and he worked in supply. And what he would do, my cat just jumped on my desk and scared the shit out of me. What he would do is he'd bring home cases of near expired MREs, and we would munge like nobody's business. And then we wouldn't shit for 3 weeks. And we found out that little white gum that they put in the MREs was actually a laxative-y kind of effect. So what we did one day is we opened up 3 MREs, and we took all that laxative-y gum and we started chewing it, and we chased, after we'd done chewing it for like half hour, we just 2 cups of coffee straight down. And that was a life-changing experience. I've never had a more satisfying bowel movement in my life, but that's not what Anson in the Morning's about. I'm sorry to get off on toilet humor. We try not to do that here. We save that for PNS After Dark. By the way, guys, if you don't know, Fat and Spicy show, we're done with that. We're now doing PNS After Dark. You can look it up on YouTube. Please give us the thumbs up, follow, subscribe. We do it every Wednesday around 7 p.m.-ish, just once the kids are in bed. And it's 10 p.m. over on the East Coast, so Jacob's kids are in bed. He's got younger kids than I do. My kids can handle it. But we settle down and we talk about the toilet humor and we have a good time. But Anson in the Morning's more about what I've seen. So as I'm staring down the barrel at 50, I start thinking to myself, what's next? What are my next chapters? Because in my 20s and in my late teens, I wanted to do the radio thing. And I did. I worked at radio stations. I was a producer for some very big shows. It was great. I was the Portland producer for Imus in the Morning for a long time. I produced the Jerry Dimmitt Show, a local celebrity in Portland. I worked for a couple of radio stations behind the board. And most notably, I worked for like 7 Christian stations on air, which was amazing. Not a Christian, but I love the job. A paycheck's a paycheck. And if you love the work, like I used to look forward to going to work every single day. It was great. It was fun. I'm on the air. And I'm as even as not a Christian guy working in a Christian station, the music kind of kicked it, Jesus is the guy, whatever, it was cool. And I met some really cool people. In my 30s, I don't know what happened, but or late 20s, early 30s, I don't know. I went from the radio thing to cooking. I realized that that's really what I wanted. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to bring food to people. And that's what I focused on the rest of my life. I own my own restaurant, as you guys know, in Portland. I moved to this little town, Crescent City, California, where I managed a kitchen for a while. I worked in another kitchen for a while, it was great. Now I want to focus on this. This is what I think my next chapter is, just being digital. So I've been streaming a lot. As you guys know, I'm an avid gamer. I love it. So I've been streaming a bit, streaming my games. I don't care if anybody cares or not. It's still fun for me. It's like you're on. The lights are on. The studio light is on. You're recording. Go. So if nobody picks up what I'm doing, I don't care. I'm still having the best time, guys. And that's something I wanted to talk about. I start thinking, what's my next chapter? How am I going to be successful? Well, I'm not going to be successful. And if I am, it's because I'm doing something that I love. Do you know what I mean? Somebody somewhere might see what I'm doing and be like, that's pretty cool. Let's throw the guy some ducats. But for the most part, I'm just doing this for the love of the game, guys. You hear about some of these baseball players or football players, who love it so much. I would do this for free. Stand-up comics say that all the time. Hey, I just want to go down stage. I don't care if they pay me or not. They happen to pay me. That's why I do this. It's the love of the game. I do it for me. I know Jacob does it for him. I do it for him too, because sometimes, you have friends in life. And in 49 years, I've met so many people, and very few have I taken as friends. That's a fact. And it's not that I'm shy or whatnot. I'm definitely not. I'm finicky. I hang around people who I feel can enrich my life, not bring me down. I mean, why hang around people who bitch all the time about how shitty everything is? Don't you want to hang around people who are like, hey, I got an idea. Let's think about some new shit. And in all these years, that's what I'm learning more and more and more, is you want to hang around people who support you, not shut you down. You know what I'm saying? So these are the people I choose as friends. I've got quite a few of them, not a lot, but enough. And so you're going to learn as you get older, friends, quantity over quality, or quality over quantity. Damn it. Remember, it's still early. I got up not too long ago. I partied a little bit for my birthday, so I'm still on the other ends of that. I'm trying to slug this coffee. In the 49 years, what else have I learned? I've learned that you don't ever have to be deceitful. If your boss asks you, did you do this? Yeah, I did. Okay, move on. I see a lot of people in their work lives in all my years that when the boss asks them, did you do this or that, they want to lie. And it just makes it worse. I tell my kids, there's no point in lying. Why lie? Tell me the truth. I'm not the kind of guy who flies off the handle, right? I used to be, but I've calmed down in my years. And I tell my kids, look, you come and you talk to me and you tell me before anybody else tells me anything. We'll work this out. We'll get it done. Solid, right? I got your back. If you lie to me, I can't help you. And I didn't really understand that lesson as a kid, because all I thought about was, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. But now I look at my kids and I'm like, that was one of the best lessons I ever learned. And the third Another lesson, the third lesson I learned in my 49 years so far is family's everything, guys. If you have family and people are looking out for you and they got your back, I mean, what greater gift in the world is there? You know, me and my wife, coming up, we've had some of the most severe tough times. We're living paycheck to next paycheck. Things are a little better now, but that's how it was when we first started together. And all I had to remember was looking around. You know what? I don't care how much money I have. This is currently. I got 3 beautiful kids. I got a wife. I got a dog who's an asshole, which is perfect. I got a cat who's pretty cool. I'm driving a nice car. Not nice, but you know what I mean? I live in a house that has heat and food, and I'm the richest dude in the world. And it takes time to appreciate those things. Back when Frank and I lived in that apartment together when we were roommates, I was like, we're never going to have nice shit. We're always poor. I was living off of a $1 pack of sunflower seeds every 2 days. And I'm like, it'll never get better. So lesson number 4, guys, that I've learned in my 49 years on this earth, it always gets better. When you're down, you never think you'll be back up. And when you're up there, it's like, is this as good as it gets? We're never appreciative. I don't know. The grass is always greener is, I guess, what I'm saying. Another lesson that I've learned in my years. Guys, the grass is always greener. And then once you get over there, you realize it's just spray paint. Don't be greedy. Don't be jealous. There's no need for that. Stick to your own, get your own, as Snoop Dogg says. You know what I'm saying though? Like work on yourself. Ain't nobody else out there going to work on it for you. And if you don't, you ain't got nobody else to blame. What's up, KDP? So like I said, it's just so more lessons. Let's see. What's another lesson I learned in my 49 years? Love the one you're with. I mean, I know that sounds like crap, but there's that song you hear, right? It's like the grass is greener. You're always looking, some hot chick walks by and you turn your eye. Well, you still got to be with the wife that's walking next to you because she's the one that loves you. Love your family. Family is everything. It's all you got. California, Northern California, KPD. So let's keep on with the lessons. Here's a big lesson that I learned. 49 years on this earth. Don't yell. You don't have to get argumentative about everything. You're not the center of your universe. There's other people in this world, and your tiniest little actions affect them. If you got kids and say the kid walks over and wants to show you something that they've done, stop what you're doing and look at it. Give them the attention because that's all they want. Kids want love. They don't want things. Well, my kids want things. But all kids want is love. Give them the love. Give them the attention and watch them grow up to be strong human beings. I mean, when I was younger, when my kids were born, I was still a frustrated kind of guy. I didn't know where I was going in this world. I was just in the throes of some bad times with my restaurant and shit I didn't know. And sometimes I get a little loud with the kids, and it was my wife who's like, what do they know? All they know is that you're this monster, and that wasn't good. That broke my heart because then I started looking at it from their side. And what about, they're little, and I just stopped crying. I didn't know. And now that these kids are coming into their teens, it took me all this time to realize that they don't need me to yell. They need me to explain. So that's what I would do. That's what I do now. If something goes, sometimes I raise my voice. The kids are wrestling upstairs, knock it off. I'm down here trying to write something for the shows or talking to Jacob I don't know. So yeah, parents are going to yell, but not like I did. I've become more understanding. I've learned to look at me through their eyes. What do they see when they look at me? What's the feeling that they get when I raise my voice? Because I remember how I used to get when my dad got mad. And trust me, it was a lot worse than screaming. Although there was a lot of screaming. I laugh to cover the pain. I'm joking. And my last lesson that I think I want to throw out to you guys that I've learned in my 49 years being on this earth is when you wake up in the morning, you just gotta be thankful that you opened your eyes. Yeah, you got a leak in your roof or, your car's got a flat tire, but guess what? I got to open my eyes today and see this thing called life. I'm looking out Studio 2 window here, and we got green trees. Here I live Northern California on the beach, so we're a little cloudy today. I went out to go run a quick errand before work. I had the windows down. You could hear the ocean about a mile away, just doing its thing. And we're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to have all of this that we have. Just the feeling you get when you wake up and you do that yawn and stretch. Oh, it feels good. That's what life is about. All these times, you don't need big moments. You don't need an adventure 24/7. You just need to take a breath and realize that I don't believe in God. You guys know I'm an atheist. But whether you believe in God or not, this is all really, really special. So I took a different route than I was going to this morning when I started the show. It wasn't going to be this introspective. I was going to talk about some of the gifts I got, and then I was going to bitch about a few things. But, I figured this is therapeutic for me, is what you guys don't realize. I get to sit here and it's kind of like therapy. How many people get to be introspective an hour a day or a half hour, however long I want to do the show? We're so busy wrapped up in the crap that we're doing and the crap that we've got going on that we don't take time to say, hey, how do I feel about this stuff? What's going on with me? Mortality is finite. Not going to live forever. I don't know if I've got 5 more years or 25 more years. I don't know. So every moment that I can, I look around and I'm like, you know what? I like the way my desk feels. I like the way that my kid sits there in his chair slumped over playing games, when I watch him over in the other room. It's taking every moment and enjoying every single second of it. Stop being so self-absorbed and absorb yourself. Does that make sense? Shit, I just came up with some wisdom. Stop being so self-absorbed and absorb yourself in life. Guys, thank you for coming today. Doing this show is probably one of my greatest, aside from my kids and family and shit, one of my greatest joys. So thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you next Monday. It's always 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you're watching me, I don't know if you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube or whatnot, but click the like thing, get the notifications. Most every Monday I'm here. Some Mondays I have to take off because I got to take the wife to a thing with the doctor or the kids or something. But 9 times out of 10, you'll find me here. Until next time, guys, this is Anson, and I love you.